So when you look at an area like low code, no code, and you look at an area like software development or any kind of technology, you want to have an application in mind. And so in this case, we're going to talk about the tactics for customer acquisition. So when you talk about technology, right? So low code, no code applies to the same areas that you do if you deal with SaaS, software as a service, if you're dealing with manual coding, it's no different. So there is low code, no code for websites and search. There's low code, no code for social media. There's low code, no code for email. There's no code, low code for events and online groups, right? So all of these things are areas that you want to consider and think about. So the first decision you need to make when you talk about low code, no code, or any area of programming is what are you focusing on? So if in this scenario, we're talking about customer acquisition, which area are you going to focus on? What is your superpower? So you're going to go website, social media, email, events, right? So websites are important only if your clients already know the products or services exist like yours. People build lots of websites all the time and then nobody knows they exist because they don't know that your product or service exists. So you can't use the web really for brand new niches or things that are very obscure or things that are unique because people don't know to search for you. So websites become very costly and very ineffective unless you're selling something very normal like pet food, beauty, flowers, TVs, things that people already know and they're already looking for. Now, social media is actually the opposite. Social media is where people go to discover new things that they haven't heard before, things that are obscure, things that are recommended, things that are word of mouth. So social media is great for visual products, services, enticing customers to buy things, getting them to do impulse buys, getting them to connect with you on a whim, things like that, hitting the unexpected. So social media is really where people go to get the unexpected. So sort of keep that in mind, right? Email. Now, email is really great for early adopters, people who need to get to know you and your products and services, and they want to receive education. So email is really great if you have a type of product or service that people need to understand more in order to consume it, in order to really get into the secret sauce of what you're offering. So email is really great for that. And then events and online groups are really great for early adopters who need to get to know your product and service and receive education also. So online events are really great for people to get to know you. So we do a lot of those with Data 360 because we have a technical service. So you need to be educated, understand things. So that's why we do events. So keep this in mind that like the purpose of your software selection is critical. So make sure you're clear on that. The second part is understanding your customer journey. So knowing what you need to do also helps you select the software that you need to get. So reviewing goals, gathering research, touch points in brainstorms, right? Empathy maps, brainstorms with lenses, affinity maps, sketch the journey, refining goals, digitizing, share, use, launch, right? So I'm going to pause on the screen for a little bit so you can sort of take notes on this screen, because all of these things are techniques, all of these steps are techniques that you need to know in order to really get into the weeds, into the details of customer acquisition so you can understand what you need, right? And the first thing I always see with my entrepreneurs that we mentor and our clients is not knowing how to set goals. So you can't pick the right software until you have goals. We have people come to us all the time and say, well, what do I need for email? What do I need for social media? And what do I need for this? Well, it depends on your goals, right? So if you pick random software and then you try to like make a goal or just do random stuff, you're not going to get very far. So you have to make sure you understand what your goals are, and goals meaning who are you trying to reach? What social media channels, right? What types of emails are you looking to send? Do your emails need to contain video? Do they need to have images? Are they just mostly text? Do they need to reach millions of people, thousands of people, or hundreds of people? Right. So that all depends on what software you're going to use, right? So you have to think about how you construct that goal. So first is who, right? Who are you trying to reach, right? And how many of those people are you trying to reach, right? And what are you trying to reach them with, right? And why is it gonna need to happen, right? So like, does it need to happen on LinkedIn because it's mostly professionals? That's the why. Does it need to happen on Facebook because it's entrepreneurs? Does it need to happen on Twitter because it's news? Why, right? The big why. And then let's see, we got who, what, where, right? Where, why, and how. So where is not just the channel, right? So I use the channel as the why, right? So the where is, where do you want them to go? What is the call to action, right? So how do you get them to get your audience to understand where they need to go, right? And it might be software that gets them there, right? So it could be a webinar software that automates them to your page. It could be a link tracker that lets you know when they're clicking on your link so you can email them. It might be some other type of technology, right? So there's lots and lots of really amazing technologies. And so you want to make sure that you really get that who, what, where, why, and how down before you start doing the research and the brainstorms and all the other things, right? So the second thing I want to say about this screen is empathy map, brainstorming lenses, all these things. Google them, right? These are practices. These are best practices for customer acquisition. So, and they're all things you want to learn. So the biggest thing when you're planning to use low code, no code is you have to put in the time. You have to put in the time to learn what the terms mean in the application you're trying to build. And then you need to also plan how things need to work. You can't just start shooting from the hip and thinking that things are going to work or talking off the top of the head, as we say. So making sure that when you start, you take this journey map and you Google it and you learn what is a touch point in channel brainstorm mean. Literally type in touch point channel and channel brainstorm. Type in empathy map. Go to Google Images, look up the images. Type in brainstorm with lenses, look up the images, Google the articles, right? Understand what each of these things mean and how they apply to your overall plan, right? And get this journey done right the first time. The most expensive thing that can happen in a business is after having to do things after you've gotten big, right? And you've done it the wrong way. So you've done it the wrong way. Now you have millions of customers. Guess what happens? You spend tens of millions of dollars correcting your mistakes, right? So just do it right the first time. Get it right the first time. Get the practices together. Then start talking about the software, right? And make sure you understand exactly what you want to do and why you want to do it.